Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. Still working on my tea this morning, and wanted to talk a little bit about aging, preparedness, and sort of the difference between what I call tactical prepping and strategic prepping. As we get older, it's harder and harder to do stuff, and I've seen this dozens and dozens of times around here with the farms and the farm families. The younger ones move away or not interested in living that lifestyle anymore, and the older ones can only do so much as they age. Now, there are some exceptions where some of the second and third generation will jump in and continue that lifestyle, but it's very rare. So here I am, middle-aged prepper, getting older every day, have had health problems. Other family members have had health problems. Family members have passed away. There's less of us around than there used to be. So how do we look forward? How am I starting to look forward to the future? How I am going to continue to prep, yet with less stuff. And then this gets into the strategic and the tactical. When you're younger, in your 20s and your 30s and stuff, and you're starting out and you're starting to get your food squared away, you're starting to think about having food and water and extra medication and having transportation and have a kind of an evacuation plan if you got to bounce and go to another family member's place if there's a storm or if there's some kind of problems. That's the tactical, the day-to-day, the in front of you aspect of preparedness, that kind of day-to-day problems and to work through. But then as you start to mature in preparedness, let's say, you'll start to think about things like, well, generators, how do I have an alternate water system? How maybe I should have a garden. I should start growing some of my own food. So you see, you're bumping that preparedness up a little bit. Now you're getting more into the strategic. How are we going to survive more long-term things? And that's another thing. Another way you could look at it, from short to long-term preparedness. But now I've sort of achieved all that, just from the way that I've lived over the years. But now it's getting to the point where I'm over the hill and I'm starting to, I don't want to necessarily say decline, but where I'm slowing down in certain aspects of it. So how do I bump my preparedness forward to these, next few years, decade or two as I age? And the big thing is I'm not going to be able to do as much as I do now, so I have to have less. And, when have you ever heard of a prepper or a prepping channel say, you know what, you need less stuff, not more stuff? But when I objectively look at it, that's exactly what I see. That's exactly what I'm looking at. How can I downsize from what I have now so as I age, I have less stuff to take care of, yet I can still maintain a level of preparedness where I have minimal disruptions to my life, having a smaller vehicle, having less overhead. There's another big one. I know people nowadays, they've got a million different things that they can spend money on, but when it boils down to the basics, if you got a roof over your head and you got heat in the house and you got you got a little food and you can plant a little bit of a garden and go out and get yourself a fresh tomato. Most people, they don't think they can live like that, but the human beings are a lot more resilient than what we give ourselves credit for. We think we need all this stuff, but in a lot of cases, if it really boils down to it, human beings are actually pretty resilient and they can get by with less. Another perfect example of this was my parents. As my parents started to age, I took on the responsibility of cutting them firewood for their house because mom and dad couldn't do it anymore. They started to get too old. But now there's probably nobody that's going to cut wood for me. So now down the road, who's going to cut that wood if I need wood? Maybe I need to come up with another alternate way of, heating a smaller place. And there you go again, smaller place. If you have a smaller place, you need less wood to heat that smaller place. So, as I age, I'm looking at these more strategic things. Income is another one. how am I going to handle income down the road? People are already talking, people have been talking for years already, Social Security is going to collapse and the stock market's going to collapse. What is everybody's 401k going to do if these trillions and trillions of dollars worth of debt catches up with the markets that we're in? How is that all going to pan out? My guess is that's not going to do a whole hell of a lot for everybody's 401k in retirement. So then how can I, make some money and still have some type of passive income coming in? So now these are the strategic preparedness things that I've been thinking about. There's a lot of things to be said about, maintaining what you have and making it last. And the old timers did that, but things don't last like they used to. I remember vehicles lasting a lot longer. And if you bought something, the first wash machine, the actual first, what you would call modern wash machine that my parents had, they still had that yet when I moved out of the house. I mean, it literally lasted decades. How many appliances last decades now? Now you buy a wash machine or refrigerator, you'll be lucky to get 5 years out of it. Buy the extra warranty, they tell you. I wouldn't let my family member, I wouldn't let a family member buy this without the extra warranty. That tells you something when the sales guys tell you that kind of stuff. So how do you look forward to the future? If you're a prepper, as you're aging, these are the things. It's not always about buying stuff and stockpiling stuff so much as it is those day-to-day, how are we going to get through this? Or if there's some type of disruption in the medical system. I had another young guy that I was talking to online, and he was talking about all going rural. And from the look of his channel, he was going rural. And I said, rural's good, but what if something happens medically? And I got the answer I kind of expected, and it was, well, I take care of myself and I'm healthy, and, I do everything I can to stay healthy, and I exercise, and, it was sort of along that lines. Yeah, that's all well and good, but, you can be cutting your firewood one day and something goes wrong and a tree drops on you. There's all kinds of things that can send you for medical care. You can be the healthiest guy in the graveyard. Trust me on this. I know lots of people that were like that. There's one guy in particular. There wasn't a stronger man that I ever knew in my life, and he died unexpectedly because of a underlying medical issue that he didn't even know he had. So, these are all things that we need to think about as we age, and I think in the preparedness community need to be talked about a little more. But anyway, this is Modern Refugee. Appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys enjoyed this little talk this morning, just kind of some of my ramblings on, aging and how to look at preparedness going forward as a slightly over-the-hill prepper that I am. Anyway, appreciate you guys. You guys take care.